Hello, hello, everyone. Thanks for dropping in. We're here at Healing Body, Mind, and Soul, and I'm your host, Aeriol Asher. Today, I have the honor and pleasure to interview and have a nice, juicy conversation with my very good new friend, Dr. Laura Polak. Now, I'll let her explain what she does, but I think that you're going to be really excited about listening to her take on the mind-body connection, and I'll let her go ahead and introduce her work to you. Laura, thank you so much for coming on the show today and taking some time for connection and to help everybody understand more about self-care.
Good morning, and thank you so much for being ahead of the curve and having podcasts and all of this happening before crises. I think you're amazing.
Oh, thank you so much for that. I have been doing the Healing Body, Mind, and Soul podcast for about 1.5 years now. And just at the beginning of this year, we started compiling a book with our experts to match our website. And I'm just really thrilled to be able to deliver not only this information to our audience, but to give healers and coaches and teachers the space to talk about their work, right? So it's twofold. It's really amazing. Now, of course, I know a little bit about you because you had to fill out the form. So I know a little bit. My audience doesn't know about you. Can you please tell my audience a little bit about the work you do? And if you can, why you're doing that work, or what keeps you going in that work?
I'm happy to, but it's so juicy. You might have to reel me in because there's so much to say.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I have been doing chiropractic work for 18 years. But what a lot of people don't know is that there's over 700 types of chiropractic, and I do one of the 700 and have taken many, many extra hours in a form called Network Chiropractic. And Network is really about you finding your connection to self. And in my 18 years, I took that work and have started working on my own work and developing how you can best connect to yourself through your nervous system and your own inner rhythms. So we could go on for hours about how I got here, but there's so much.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So this is in perfect alignment with our subject matter on the channel and on the show about this connection to self. Laura, can you explain what you mean by that to our listeners?
Absolutely. What I've learned in the last 18 years is that people disconnect when they're in a state of fight or flight. And that the state of fight or flight comes in to help upgrade our system, just like we upgrade our phones. And then what we've been taught by our culture and society is that we need to go to what I would call a map maker or a story maker to go get it fixed. But in truth, that all of the healing power lies within us, and that it's in that healing power inside of us that we can then upgrade and evolve to who we are supposed to become. And what I really love to do is work with people one-on-one to help them see what the upgrade is that they missed. And it may be something they missed years ago, or it may be something really current, but it's blocking them from being who they're supposed to be in this moment.
Like they just didn't get that lesson in Earth School?
Well, no, in Earth School, they did get the lesson, but let's say they are like myself. I'm a mother, I'm an entrepreneur, I went to chiropractic school, and I got a message from, let's say, a physical message where I hurt my back and it's injured. And that message, I go, hey, this is inconvenient. I need to take care of my kid. I need to continue working. I need to do these things. So I need to make it go away. And that's really not what we want to do. We want to say, what is the calling here? Why is my back speaking to me? What is it wanting to tell me about who I need to be, how I need to upgrade my system so that I can know that this back pain is telling me, hey, wait, you're not listening. It's time to come back into your body and listen. And if I listen effectively, then I can become who I'm meant to be.
Wonderful. So is part of network chiropractic then to teach people the language of their body, this somatic sort of listening? Or I don't know, you're the expert, you tell me.
No, thank you. I appreciate the questions. It's great. There's kind of a multiple layer. We have the connection on what I would call the physical field and learning to listen to your body. And one of the things I do is called somato-respiratory integration, where you connect to your body through breath, movement, and energy. And that dialogue has 12 different exercises where you connect with different states of consciousness. Just to go off on a little side trail for a minute, like right now with the virus and everybody being stressed out about the virus, I'm noticing a lot of people not acknowledging the suffering, that there's sometimes spiritual bypass wanting to go to singing and dancing and joy, and not a lot of people are putting their hands on themselves and saying, oh my God, I'm so scared. I'm really afraid I'm not going to make enough money. Things are really hard right now. What about my mom? What about my aunt? And just acknowledging in your body, hey, this is what I'm feeling. So there are all these ways to connect, and that's one of them through the SRI. And then the other is just by assessing your nervous system. I really am a nervous system doctor. I'm a bit of a nerd that way. And what I do know is that like your nervous system holds those trails in your system until they're ready to handle them. And so what my job is to help you connect to your nervous system through a point of peace, which we call a spinal gateway. And that spinal gateway helps re-inform the system, oh my gosh, I'm defragging this hard drive. I'm not getting the information properly. Let's move back to peace. Let's move back to, if I may borrow from you, because it's what all chiropractic is based on, is tone. And so that tonal energy is defragmented through the system because of a trauma, and it could be emotional, it could be physical, it could be biochemical. And that when the nervous system can reflect back on itself and go, oh, I didn't even know that's been sitting in my spine for 9 years. Let's move it through. And the really cool thing, if people have been watching Goop and all of those neat things about network, is that as it moves through in a wave, just like sound does, just like light does. And then that wave picks up all of the defragmented pieces and moves it through the system in a way, upgrading. And it's not really about moving it out of your system, because then you don't upgrade. It's about taking everything and bringing it through so that you can then move on and go to the next piece.
Oh, okay. So it almost is, this defragging is cleaning out the plaque, or cleaning out, it is circulating the information through so that it can be absorbed properly instead of at a sticking point.
Sure. What happens is that we get to a place of, oh my God, I don't want to feel this. It's too hard. So I'm just going to set it over here. And then we get on with our lives. Even, for instance, people who are in war-torn countries, after a period of 3 months, we'll start to see it as normal, because that's what we do with our nervous system when we're in fight or flight, is we just go, okay, let's keep going. We have to get the mail. We have to take care of our kids. We have to keep doing these things. And then when we're safe enough, we can go back. And we can go, wait a minute, that was really traumatic. This does feel really hard. And you don't have to go back through it with words. You don't have to go back through it with any practice. What I do is that I go back through it with the nervous system and help your nervous system remember, oh my gosh, I am at peace here. This part is still living as if it's in fight or flight. And if I take this place of peace and teach the part that's in fight or flight how to move back to ease, we'll be okay.
Wonderful. I think everybody wants to be okay and have their amygdala tickled just a little bit so they can go back into that peaceful place, right?
Absolutely.
Tickle your amygdala. I say that's kind of what the vibrational bowls do, and what tone can do, right? Is like tell that part that's hanging on. That's the way that I explain it. I think it's probably a little bit more complex in the language that you use. Can you tell me a little bit about the concept of entrainment? Tell me about entrainment.
Yes, and one of the wonderful things is about, again, with the tonal healing you do, chiropractic was based on tone 100 years ago. And what we're looking at is the tone and shape of your spine actually dictates the tone and shape of your life. And so the word entrainment has to do with the tone of your spine. So if your spine is in a protective tone, and I move into what, again, I call a spinal gateway, which is that place or access point of peace. A lot of medicines, we move to the point of defense anchoring, the point of most pain. In network, what we do is we go, hey, here's the place of peace. Let's connect to it with peace. And then have the body entrain to what peace feels like. And then because we don't live in a vacuum, we're also looking at how that entrains to the global community and the room of people that you're with. So a good example of that is if you take a tuning fork, and I take it and I put it in a football field, and then I run across to the other side of the football field and I put in another tuning fork.
You're in
and
good shape.
That too.
You're in good shape.
But if I ring that tuning fork, it will ring all the way across the football field because there's a harmonic of frequency entrainment oscillation. And that's true in the spine, and that's true in our communities, and that's true in the global field. So what the entrainment does is help put those frequencies back in alignment.
Wow, that's amazing. So if somebody who's listening puts themselves in their happy place, we'll just in their happy place, maybe not a gateway of peace, but at least a happy place. Does that mean, Dr. Laura, that state that they're in will affect the people around them and the environment around them?
Yes, and if I may add to that, I think it's a little more complicated because one of the things that I'm witnessing right now is there's a lot of what I would call bypass, which is people try to put themselves in their
Are you with me, Laura?
I am. Did I lose you?
Yes. If you could just start where you were saying we were talking about people being in a state of bypass.
Yeah.
Before
So
you cut out.
there's this phrase that people use sometimes, and I don't know if it's common, called "Don't put lipstick on a pig." You know?
I wouldn't anyway, but so tell us a little bit about that one. What does this mean?
Well, sometimes we try to pretend we're happy when underneath what's happening is that we're not. And we have to authentically acknowledge what's happening. So in network chiropractic, the work talks about AAA. The first thing we do is we acknowledge what's really there. And so if we can acknowledge that, yes, I'm truly happy all the way through, awesome. Actually, there's a name before it. You have to become aware. Then you acknowledge it, and then we accept it. So if you're truly happy in all three A's, and then you're emanating that, and then you walk into the room and your sweetheart is a prickly prune, and it's just not in the mood, it might really affect your happiness, or your happiness might in fact entrain their prickly pruneness into joy.
Mm. And so who wins in the I think joy is a higher vibration, so I'm gonna vote for joy.
Joy can win, but we could play a little
Although
bit.
I've been around a couple prickly prunes in my time, so I do know that I do my best to beam out my happy, and sometimes prunes can have their effect.
They can have their effect. But one of the things that's super cool and easy to do that all of your listeners can do is, it's a little bit mirroring. But what it also is acknowledging some of our basic needs, which is to be heard and to be seen. So when you're with a prickly prune and you're trying to beam them light and happiness, it's kind of annoying to them. It's like when you're in extreme suffering and somebody tells you to meditate. If I'm starving, the last thing in the world that I want is somebody to tell me to meditate or dance or sing. I want food. And so what I'm saying is that sometimes it's really important to just acknowledge the person that's in front of you and not try to change them. Does that make?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I love this message and this through line of the authenticity, back to the beautifying pigs, and back to beautifying pigs is not to fake. There's also the fake it till you make it kind of mentality, or people project something forward that's maybe not authentic, and what you're doing, which I love, is actually calling them back into a more authentic state, right?
Right.
So
I think that's what we need all the time, is more authenticity, not happiness. And if you're really miserable and unable, then I'd really just like to say, hey, tell me about what's making you miserable. I'm here. As opposed to, hey, I'm really happy, don't bring me down, prickly prune.
So you heard it here first. Here are some great tips on how to upgrade your prune conversations, everybody. I'm sure everybody can put those tips in order. Do you have any other super tips for our listeners that they can do to employ today, that they can upgrade their state of wellness, Dr. Laura?
I really think that just the AAA is the best thing to do. Become aware of what's truly running your life right at the moment. And even if you want the gratitude, joy, abundance, all the really high vibrational words to run you, and you're feeling scared and upset, and if you acknowledge those things, the gratitude and joy and abundance will pop right back in. But we have to start with where we are. So acknowledge where you are, then accept it. Take a moment, put your hands on your body and say, I am so sorry that you've been feeling that way. I'm right here, I'm listening. And then that's it. Don't try to do anything with that. Just allow that and then move on, because all through the day, if we're as creative as you are and abundant as a lot of your listeners, we will be experiencing many emotions, and the range just gets bigger and broader. We don't stay in just one range of emotions all the time. So being with what is in your body, taking a moment and listening to it. Oh my God, I'm so sorry you hurt. Tell me more. To your body. Oh my God, I'm so sorry you're scared. To your body. Really allows you to start having this conversation where your body has wisdom. I am just, again, such a geek for the body. Your body's, the heart's beating right now, you're breathing, you're pooping regularly, you're peeing regularly, and we don't take enough time and go, oh my God, thank you. You're amazing. I love you for doing all those things. We only stop to listen when our body's yelling. So if you can get into a daily practice of listening to your body and acknowledging it, I think that's probably the number one thing you can do for your health at this point in life.
That's wonderful, wonderful advice, Dr. Laura. And while you were talking, I was thinking so much of how many negative things we say to our body on a regular basis, and what our mind sometimes tells our body, and how we really should just make friends with our body, right? Because it's giving us this wonderful experience. It's I think it's slow moving for some of us. Slow moving and maybe not as quick to respond as some very fast thinkers in the house might, and to really have that relationship with the body, that we love it and appreciate it as our vehicle, as our inner child, as all of those things. Dr. Laura, I know that our listeners have gotten so much value from hearing what you have to say today. Can you please let us know how they can reach out to you if they feel so inclined?
Absolutely. You are welcome to look online. I am at www.communityholistichealth.com. .340. And are you still there?
I am. We just got that. I got the website. Can you please repeat the number for me, please?
Sure. 707-824-0340. And there is a cell phone number that I'm using during these times that things are different, and it's on that phone number. I don't have it memorized because I don't use it, but happy to have you call.
No problem at all. Well, I'm sure that everybody has gotten a juicy tidbit today. And my takeaway is love your body, tickle your amygdala, spend some time making friends with your body. And I love this entrainment idea. So make sure to spend some time dropping into your body and really being authentic about what's going on with you and what you're experiencing. And that way things will get better once you, right? This is according to Dr. Laura. Once we become aware and we accept where we're at, then we can make some change from there. All right, Dr. Laura, thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate you taking the time.
So appreciate what you're doing for our community at large. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. Okay, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for today. So this is Aeriol coming at you from Healing Body, Mind, and Soul. And until next time, happy healing.